What's up, guys? KAMIKAZE-FOX coming to you from International Racing League F2 League F1 2019 on the PS4 platform. And we've already got Fishy on the live chat. That's going to be Shay Fox. We'll talk about him in a minute here as we get ready to do an 18-minute short qualifying session followed by a 50% race. This is round 17, the European Grand Prix at Baku, Azerbaijan. And we'll run down the driver list as we wait for a couple of more drivers to show up at Nexus Clone. That's going to be championship contender and defending F2 champion Jared Fosbury in the McLaren. F3Y1HD is Felix Negwer in the factory Ferrari, and EFL_F1, that is Eric Pettington, currently running 5th in points. James Al in the Red Bull is going to be James Hallworth. And Speedy Suarez is Paco Suarez in the Mercedes. TSR Fishy is Shay Fox in the Red Bull. TNR Steph is Steph Christensen. He's in the factory Renault, teamed up with Eric Pettington today. Meme 4617 is Sean O'Sullivan. He'll be driving in the Haas, and he'll be followed by Razor Varuz in the Williams. That is Wei Liu. Chipsman Crunchy is James Yock in the Racing Point. He's teamed up with Luis Wassman. That is Luis W34 in the Racing Point. Riceman 12, that is Reese March from SRL. Good to see him joining the IRL League. He is reserve driver and backup. He's going to be in the Alfa Romeo today, and Harry Cooper will be in the other factory McLaren. Nexus Aspect in the Alfa Romeo, that is Kevin Harrison. And then we've got newcomer Mumford Plays, that's Thomas Mumford. He'll be making his second debut, or second race here in IRL. And Jared Fosbury has just said here in the live chat that we'll be going racing here in 5 minutes. We're waiting for a couple of other drivers to show up so we can recap last week, which was round 16 at Paul Ricard, where Eric Pettington took home his third pole position of the year, but he crashed out, unfortunately, when the weather switched over. It was started out in the dry, it switched over to the wets, and he crashed out. It was his second DNF of the season as he came home 12th. Chris Rock would come home with his first win of the season. He's a newcomer to the league, and no, it is not comedian Chris Rock. A happy coincidence. That's his second podium finish, but it was his first win. Shay Fox did come home with his first podium of the year, and he's feeling amped up today. Maybe he can back it up with another one. And then Kevin Harrison with his league-leading 8th podium finish, coming home in 3rd. He is your championship points leader. He's got 234 points to his credit. He was followed by championship contender Jared Fosbury. Fosbury came home 4th, and Fosbury is currently tied for 2nd in points with Jack Yates. It was Kevin Harrison's teammate, but Yates is not here today, so today Fosbury could definitely capitalize and lock up that 2nd spot in the championship as the season winds down. Luis Wassman came home in 5th. Felix Negwer was 6th. Sean O'Sullivan 7th. Jack Yates, who we just did talk about, did come home 8th last week, struggled in the wet. James Yock in 9th. And then 10th through 13th were all DNFs. Harry Cooper, Paco Suarez, Eric Pettington, and Thomas Mumford. It was Harry Cooper's 5th DNF of the season. And Paco Suarez, who has been struggling all season, has a league-leading 9 DNFs to his credit. He has struggled with the handling model of this game, and he has definitely struggled with his rig at home, his steering wheel setup. He's had some throttle issues where the throttle's been getting hung and keeping that car floored. So the last few weeks, he has definitely had some bad offs and just some uncontrollable driving. Hopefully he's got that fixed for this weekend. Eric Pettington with only his 2nd DNF of the season. Now, Pettington's only a part-time driver, but he is currently 4th in points with 119. And then Thomas Mumford, making his debut last week, unfortunately, comes home with his first DNF. So, like I said, we're getting set to do 18-minute short qualifying session and then a 50% race. We've got Ivan Brito on the live chat. Good to hear from him. He's currently an IRL F3 driver. Did pick up his first ever IRL win earlier this year in F3, so congratulations to him on that. And we did talk about him a few weeks ago. He was an F2 driver, had a abysmal race back at Catalonia for the Spain Grand Prix, the Spanish Grand Prix. And he made the mature decision to take a step back to F3, regroup, and race with guys that are a little bit more on his level, as opposed to racing in the F2 league. And the week after that, he did come home with his first ever win, so congratulations to Ivan Brito. We've also got Luke Baker joining us on the live chat. And here at the Center of Speed this weekend, I'm live streaming IRL. I'm also trying to keep up with the official IMSA Rolex 24, the 24 Hours of Daytona, where Kamui Kobayashi is currently your leader overall. and pulling for that number 10 Wayne Taylor car to walk away with a win. We also did some live streaming last night. I live streamed the Phoenix Motorsports Simulations, the GT3 Gunslinger Series, where they ran a 2-race format last night, one in the dry, one in the red at Spa-Francorchamps with the GT3 cars. It was quite an exciting race. I had Six Gun Johnny with me in the booth. I was his co-commentator, so guys, definitely check that out. Phoenix Motorsports Simulations. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment to that. You can also go to my page and like, subscribe, and comment for that as well. And it looks like we are getting set to get underway. We're going to have 15 drivers on the grid today. That's a little bit of a tick up. The league average this year for F2 has been about 12 drivers a race, so looks like we're going to have 15 on the grid today, so that'll be good to see. And some of these drivers, as we run down, like I said, Jack Yates not here today. Jack Yates locked in a championship battle with his teammate Kevin Harrison and Jared Fosbury. Those three have pulled away this year. Harrison's your championship points leader with 234 points to his credit. Jack Yates, Jared Fosbury tied at 193 for second. Eric Pettington fourth in points with 119. And then there's a huge gap back to fifth. It's Harry Cooper in the other McLaren. He's got 81 points to his credit for fifth. Jorge Correa, who we have not seen in a couple weeks now, is tied up. Well, he's not tied up, but he's locked up in sixth right now. But we haven't seen him in a couple weeks. He's got 78 points to his credit. Now, Luis Wassman is right behind him with 74. Wassman could definitely jump him today with a good finish. And Wassman's really come together in the last couple of races. He's had a lot of good finishes. He was fifth last week. Had his first podium of the year the week before that, where he came home for a hard-fought third-place finish at Spa. And Jonas Bogen, who's got a podium to his credit as well. He's got 49 points to his credit, running in 8th currently in points. And then you've got Chris Rock and Felix Negwer, 9th and 10th respectively. And it sounds like, Chris Rock's got 43 points, Felix Negwer's only got 39. But those guys have only been in 3 races. Felix Negwer was an F1 driver. He's actually the defending F1 champion. But due to time constraints, he's unable to make the F1 races this year. So he decided to run the F2 races. It fits his time schedule a little bit better. Joined us at round 14 in China was his F2 debut. And he came home 4th that race. And then he had his first podium of the season, round 15 at Spa, where he came home 2nd. And then last week he was 6th. So 3 races to his credit. He's already got 39 points on the board. Chris Rock only has a couple of races to his credit. Trying to see where he possibly had joined us. But Chris Rock's only been in a handful of races so far. You see all these guys going out at the same time. But Chris Rock with that 2 podiums to his credit, one of them being a win. That puts him 9th in points with 43. And looks like we've got some overcast here. A little bit of a haze here at Baku. Guys going out on their out laps. So obviously Baku, very long straights, very tight corners, going to be a low downforce setup for a lot of these guys, especially with a long run down to the start finish line. We've got Lewis Marshall on the live chat as well. Always good to have him with us. Lewis Marshall, your current points leader in SRL F1 racing, and he'll be here rooting on his SRL counterpart Reese March. Reese March, who drives for the Haas F1 team in SRL with Sam Brandt. We'll be cheering him on as well. So good to see everybody joining us. Qualifying has just started. 16 minutes left to play in this 18-minute qualifying session. Nobody has set a time yet. Currently watching Harry Cooper. Or was that Jared Fosbury? Looks like there was Jared Fosbury. Try and pick up who is the first one on in hot lap. We'll get some lap data up here for everybody. Watch the times as they drop. Yellow flag sector 3. Probably going to see that a lot today. It looks like we do have Jared Fosbury is going to be one of the first ones out on a hot lap. He's in Sector 1. Again, very tight corners around here. A lot of 90-degree corners, long straightaways. Got this goofy section here, and then there's the ever popular Castle turn, where Castle is sure to call out somebody during this race. And here it is right here, this quick left, right, left little sequence there. That Castle wall just sticks out a little bit. And Fosbury's going to be looking to capitalize today as Jack Yates is unable to make the race, so he can lock up second spot in the points and get himself a good finish here. And he's going to be looking to close that points gap to Kevin Harrison. They had a great battle going for the third spot last week at Paul Ricard in the wet. But unfortunately, on the last couple laps, Fosbury had burnt up those intermediates, and Kevin Harrison, who's been a master of wet weather racing all season, was able to capitalize on that and snatch third away right towards the end of the race. Jared Fosbury succumbed to that and had to go home fourth. Looks like he'll come across the line, set the first time. So 138.616 for Jared Fosbury. The first one across the line will pick up Kevin Harrison, championship points leader. See what he's got in the tank as Wei Lu comes across the line at a 138.648. Good qualifying effort by him. But Eric Pettington, 137.721, 9/10 of a second quicker than Jared Fosbury, already to the top of the charts, and he's been very fast all year. Again, part-time driver. He's got 3 pole positions to his credit, plus a couple of wins. Fourth in points. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with for sure. Go back to Kevin Harrison here as we hop on board through the Castle turn. And Harrison has been very methodical this year in the way he has been scoring his points. He's run some very, very good race strategies. Not often the fastest driver on the track, but I would say more than not, he's probably the smartest driver on track. We see Sean O'Sullivan has come across with a 143.33, good enough for fifth. Shay Fox, fourth quickest at a 139.485. So here comes Kevin Harrison to finish his first hot lap out on the soft tires. Looks like we see another couple other drivers set times. James Hallworth with a 147.26, 138.602 for Kevin Harrison, but his time was invalidated, so at some point he went too far off on the track limitations and cost himself that time. So 138, that would have been good enough for third right now. We'll pick up Paco Suarez, who's had a really atrocious year trying to get that car situated, and he's going to dive into the pits. Gives up on that lap. Looks like he was trying to set a hot lap on hards. Looks like that's not going to be the tire to do that with. We'll pick up his teammate for the day. This is Thomas Mumford, the other Mercedes. He's also out on hards. See, a lot of these other guys have already set their times on soft tires. Weather's usually not a factor here at Baku. It's very clear skies right now in qualifying. Not sure what the race is going to bring. But I don't think I've ever actually seen a wet weather race at Baku the few years that F1 has been racing there. And Mumford looks like he might have cut that corner a little too tight. And it's that corner right there, I think, where Harrison invalidated his time. I remember seeing that Alfa Romeo come out of that corner a little wide. Looks like he might have gone too off over that curb, and that's going to exceed the track limits here at Baku. Yellow flag in Sector 3. 11 minutes left to play in the session. No major incidents so far, which is a little surprising here at Baku, as narrow as the course is. And then you get this long run, this quick S here, and this long run, you're flat out all the way. It's like 3/4 of a mile, you're flat out to the start-finish line. And Shay Fox has given us a little bit of a forecast update as we see Mumford just come across the line, a 141.671. It is the slowest time that's been posted, but good enough for 8th as we're still waiting on 7 other drivers to set a time. And Shay Fox giving us a little bit of a weather forecast here on the live chat. looks like it's going to be dry most of the race until the very end. Looks like we might get some rain. So depending on how hot the track is, may or may not need intermediates, he says. We'll see how that plays out. If there is a crossover, it'll be very interesting to see. And if it's late in the running, some of these guys might try to run hards for a very long first stint and run them all the way until it's time for a crossover. Yellow flag sector 1. And we see Mumford. He's got one of the Red Bulls all over the back of him. That is James Hallworth. And Hallworth right... Oh, and this is getting a little dicey for qualifying. Now, Hallworth could use him as a slipstreaming partner here on the straightaway, but Mumford's going to wisely get out of the way. That got a little dicey there for a second. No need to be racing under qualifying conditions. Saw a little bit of that yesterday at the GT3 Gunslinger Series at the Phoenix Motorsports Simulations race. That was the first dry weather race that they ran yesterday. They run 2 race format, dry weather race and then a wet weather race. So we do see Hallworth come across the line, 1:47.26. Does not improve his time. Actually came across at a 1:41. Looks like he might have gotten held up a little bit. Kevin Harrison's on another out lap. He hasn't posted a time yet. He's out on the soft tires. And Harrison's got a little bit of traffic in front of him. Real quickly, I wanted to say that was Reese March, but Reese March is not driving the Haas in IRL. He's driving the Alfa Romeo today, and Harry Cooper is retired from the session. So Harry Cooper looks like he might have had an off in Sector 3 and crashed into the wall. His time is good enough for second so far with a 1:38.349. And now we've got yellow flags in sectors 1, 2, and 3. 8 minutes left to play in this qualifying session. And it looks like that would have been Sean O'Sullivan in that Haas. That might have been holding up Kevin Harrison here. Luckily, they're both on an out lap. We're going to jump on board with Kevin Harrison down this very long front straightaway. DRS slot open. That's a drag reduction system on the rear spoiler. If you're within 1 second of the car in front of you, you get that DRS advantage. The slot opens. You can use it on a couple spots around the track. A couple of designated areas for that. Just see how tight and narrow that this track is, and if there's going to be an issue on the start, I mean, it could definitely turn into a huge calamity for a lot of drivers. Another tight right-hander, you get back on the throttle, you get a quick, well, that was a left-hander, this is the quick right-hander up here. Back on the power, then you got another short straightaway with a little bit of a dog leg. Brake right before the 50-meter mark, quick left-right exchange, you come down here, another short straightaway. This is going to put you up to this goofy right-hander right here where the curbing is just sticks out just a little bit. They don't want you to take that corner too tight. And then it's down here to the castle turn, the left-hander up the hill. Oh, and Harrison very close to knocking the wall on that right front. That was piping close. Back on the throttle, runs the 2 off of the curb. That might validate his time. Down the hill, sweeping 13, turn 13. And fastest lap has just gone to Eric Pettington, and Harrison jumps that curb. And that is definitely going to validate his time. And Eric Pettington sets a fastest time. He's already first, 1:37.577, so he improves on his time. He's 0.8 of a second quicker than Harry Cooper in the McLaren. And Cooper is done for the day as he retired earlier in the session into the wall. Assuming what is into the wall. And down this front straightaway, Harrison's going to come across the line. It's a very sloppy lap, 1:38.630. It does give him credit for the time, and that is going to be good enough for 5th quickest so far. And shade box thing that Steph Christensen blocked it at the castle turn. I'm sure it wasn't anything intentional. And Steph Christensen back in the pits. Pick up Maurice Wassman. Wassman, one of two drivers yet to set a time. We're still waiting to see a time from Paco Suarez and Luis Wassman, who we're watching currently. Time is ticking down. 5 minutes left to play in the session. Luis Wassman, one of two, like I said, yet to set a time. We'll see what he's got. He's out on the medium tires right now, blowing down the front straightaway. Let's see what Luis Wassman's got in the tank. Anything for anybody going to come across the line? Ooh, he's going to be a little bit off the pace. 139.683, good enough for 10th so far. That's set on the medium tires. And looks like he's going to do a quick cool-down lap. Meanwhile, while that was happening, Sean O'Sullivan set a really good time at a 138.436, good enough for third. That drops championship contender Jared Fosbury down to fourth. Now, Fosbury's currently in the pits, probably going to put on a new set of shoes, make one minor adjustment. 4 minutes left to play in the session. A lot of these guys are going to be making a... you see a lot of them in the pits, a couple of them coming out. Reese March coming out on another out lap. He's currently qualified in 14th. Paco Suarez currently on his out lap. He's the only driver left to yet set a time. We're currently watching Wei Liu in the Williams. And he's going to dive into the pits, 6th quickest so far. You see O'Sullivan going into the pits as well. Pick up Thomas Mumford. Looks like he might be the only guy on a hot lap right now, with the exception, he doesn't even look like he's on the pace. We'll pick up Reese March. I think he's just starting a hot lap. Time winding down. The track's about to get very busy. All those cars that are in the pit lane, they're about to come out and make one last ditch effort to try and snatch that pole position. Currently, Eric Pettington sitting on provisional pole with a 137.577 in the factory Renault. Ooh, runs very wide, clips the wall there just a little bit. Up through the castle turn. Runs very wide coming out of there. This doesn't look like, it's a very hard track to get around here. This doesn't look like one of Reese's best efforts. As I said, Reese coming over from SRL F1. Ooh, and slides the back end out of there. Does a great Ken Block impression, saves the car. Gonna run wide coming out of there, and if I had to take a guess, if this time isn't invalidated for exceeding track limits, it's gonna be off the pace. A lot of mistakes there. But as I say, Reese March, F1 driver in SRL. Good mid-pack driver. Him and his teammate Sam Brandt running the Haas F1 cars in SRL. Good teammates, good mid-pack driver. Been working hard on his online racing, and it looks like he's going to blow the first corner. And he has retired from the sessions. He's good enough for 13th, 148.06. And Reese March calls it a day here, qualifying. Less than 2 minutes left to play. And now everybody is on an out lap. Eric Pettington sitting on provisional pole. He's on his out lap. Sean O'Sullivan. See if he's got anything left for him in the factory Haas car. Jared Fosbury. And Paco Suarez goes the second quickest on the charts, 137.888. He's only the second driver to crack into the 137s. Great qualifying effort by him. We've got Jared Fosbury's at the Castle Turn on an out lap. Kevin Harrison, who's managed to work his way into 6th, 138.629. He's on an out lap. Wei Liu on an out lap. Steph Christensen behind him on his out lap. Felix Negwer, who we haven't talked much about, on an out lap. Shay Fox, if he's on a timed lap, he's got some traffic in front of him. And Felix Negwer are going to try and either stay out of the way or see if he can go fast enough to get away from him. This could benefit Shay Fox a little bit, get a little bit of a slipstream off of that Ferrari. DRS slots will be open on these rear wings. Shay Fox to second spot, 137.668. So the slipstream off of the Ferrari definitely helped him. Good enough for second. He's the third driver to crack into the 137s. Pick up James Hallworth. Looks like he's on the last bit of Sector 3 coming down the front stretch. James Hallworth, 1:38.415, good enough for 5th quickest. Great qualifying effort by him. And timing is up. Kevin Harrison is locked in at a 1:38.629. Luis Wassman locked in at a 1:39.682. But hot laps will count. Does anybody have anything for Eric Pettington? And Pettington's got a slew of cars behind him. Looks like that's Wei Lu behind him. Pettington. Oh, very quick through the castle turn right there. Pettington's going to try and capitalize, see if he can put another knuckle in the backs of the competitors. Oh, and he blows the corner, jumps the curve. That's going to invalidate his time. So his time will be locked in at that 1:37.577. And then right behind him, Wei Lu almost had it off himself. That back end slid out on him. So they're going to call it. Here comes Sean O'Sullivan in the Haas. And O'Sullivan's going to get a little bit of a slipstream. Looks like that's Steph Christensen getting a slipstream. And Pettington's lap did count, 1:37.461. Steph Christensen comes across 4th. That quickly gets snatched away by Sean O'Sullivan. And look at this, Jared Fosbury, championship contender, down in 8th. Kevin Harrison down in 10th. And that is going to do it for qualifying. I don't think anybody else is on a hot lap, maybe with the exception of James Hallworth would be the only driver left on a hot lap as he's coming down the front straightaway now. He's well off the pace. He set his time. So this one, he's just going to come across the line to wrap this up. And that's going to do it for an 18-minute qualifying session. Eric Pettington with an unbelievable time. Going to walk away with his 4th pole position of the year here at Baku, Azerbaijan for the European Grand Prix. So here is your starting order. Eric Pettington, followed by Shay Fox, Paco Suarez, Sean O'Sullivan, Steph Christensen, Harry Cooper, James Hallworth, Jared Fosbury, Felix Negwer, Kevin Harrison, Wei Lu, James Yock, Thomas Mumford, Luis Wassman, and Reese March rounding out your 15 drivers for today's European Grand Prix. And Steph Christensen and Shay Fox talking here in the live chat. And even though he got blocked at the castle corner, Shay Fox made up for it with a great qualifying effort to come across 1:37.668. So a great qualifying effort by Shay Fox, but Eric Pettington, the man of the hour with his 4th pole position of the year. And Shay Fox had told us during qualifying that there is a little bit of weather in the area that could be a factor late in this race. So we'll see if that becomes a factor. He said he's not sure how late in the race it'll start or if he'll have to switch over to intermediates. It depends on how hot the track is. So there could be some weather being an issue here late in the late going. We'll see how that transpires throughout the course of this race. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. IRL F2, International Racing League F2 Series on F1 2019 for the PS4 platform. Center of speed today is my beautiful basement man cave, where I am currently live streaming and trying to watch the 24 Hours of Daytona, where the Wayne Taylor Racing number 10 Kamui Kobayashi powered car is leading the way. So going to do the formation lap here. Eric Pettington with his 4th pole position of the year. He'll be looking to pick up another win and capitalize on the bad qualifying efforts by some of these other championship contenders. He's part-time driver, 4th in points. He's not completely out of the championship fight, but the rounds are winding down. And Shay Fox coming off of his first podium for IRL at Spa-Francorchamps last time out. He'll be starting in 2nd. Does he have anything for Eric Pettington? And Paco Suarez with his best qualifying effort of the year. He's got 9 DNFs to his credit this year. Leads the league. He'll be looking to finish in the race. He'll be looking to finish and get some points for today. Can he capitalize on this great starting position by him? And Sean O'Sullivan with a good qualifying effort by him in the Haas, starting in 4th. Can he work his way to the front, maybe get a podium? And Steph Christensen, teammate to Eric Pettington, but I do not believe there's any team orders. Christensen, new to the league, and Pettington, part-time driver. He'll be looking to just try and make a good finish on this race and put some points on the board. Harry Cooper teammate, the championship contender, Jared Fosbury, is going to be starting in 6th at a DNF last time out. He'll be looking to try and finish the race, put some points on the board for McLaren as they've locked up that 2nd spot in the constructors' point standings. James Hallworth with a good effort, starting in 7th today. Can he work his way through the field, maybe snatch a podium? And Jared Fosbury tied for 2nd in points with Jack Yates. He's had a string of bad luck the last 3 races. He's tired of getting pushed around. It may be time for him to start pushing back. He's going to have to work his way through the field. And he's going to definitely want to capitalize on the fact that Jack Yates is not here. Felix Negwer coming into this league late in the season. He'll be looking to put a good finish on the board as he starts 9th. And Kevin Harrison, your championship points leader, he is used to working his way through the field. It shouldn't be an issue for him. Very methodical, very intelligent driver. He's got Wei Lu going to be starting in the 11th spot. He'll be looking to try and work his way into the points. And James Yock, starting on the medium tires, going to run a long first stint. See if he can capitalize on that and work his way into the points. Same thing with Thomas Mumford. He'll be on the medium tires. Had a DNF last time out. He'll be looking to finish the race, put some points on the board. Luis Wassman, who's been very quick the last couple of weeks, a poor qualifying effort on his part. He'll be starting in the 14th spot. Can he work his way into the points and keep his string of good finishes going? And newcomer to IRL, but not a newcomer to F1, Reese March starting at the back of the field in the Alfa Romeo. That is the sister car to championship points leader Kevin Harris, and he is a reserve driver as Jack Yates is not in today. Reese March will be looking to work his way through the field and have a good finish here in his IRL debut in F2. The formation lap is coming to an end. We'll let the grid reset, and we're going to be set to do 50% race, 26 laps here at Azerbaijan, the European Grand Prix. So we wait for the 5 red lights. 5 red lights. Lights out, time to run what you brung, and they're away in a puff of smoke, and a good start by Shea Fox. He's got the inside line, and Eric Penton already makes contact with him. And Shea has contact again in the back, and that's Jared Fosbury gets pushed wide. 3 wide in the corner. That's a great start by Jared Fosbury, but Owen around us, one of the Red Bulls. Oh, and that's Thomas Mumford who made contact with James Hallworth. As Hallworth goes around, looks like he might have had a little bit of help. Shea Fox had a good run down into turn 1. I thought he might have had the inside line, but Eric Penton gave him a little bit of a shoulder check hitting into turn 1. Shea Fox sticking with him as these two have pulled out. And look at this gaggle of cars back here. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. All together now. And this is such a narrow track. It's going to be tough going through here. Side-by-side action. Unbelievable racing there through those couple of corners. And Sean O'Sullivan comes out on top into the 3rd spot. And look at this. Paco Suarez trying to get one of his spots back that he lost. Puts Steph Christensen into the wall. Oh, no! And that was Harry Cooper, it looked like. No, that was... Yes, that was Harry Cooper. Made some contact with Castle Turn. He's going to have some wing damage for sure. Ooh, and here comes Steph Christensen. Tries to make it look at the inside of Paco Suarez. Oh, no, he's battling understeer. Christensen now got wing damage on both end plates. So he's going to have a huge loss of downforce. You can see the car wants to wash out. That's going to open up the door for Jared Fosbury. Don't get caught up in it. Christensen has to tiptoe with low downforce on that front end of that car. He'll probably be looking to make a pit stop. So Fosbury's going to move into the 7th spot as you see Christensen peels off there, dives into the pits. And Fosbury moves up into the 6th spot. So a little bit of a hectic going here. And Reese March, with all that, has worked his way into 10th, and his car looks fairly clean. Doesn't look like he's got any wing damage, so a great start by him. James Hallworth has to pit. Steph Christensen has to pit. They're both away. They're going to be running 14th and 15th. You saw Hallworth go around early on in the going. So here's your battle for the lead now on lap 2. This is Eric Penton and Shea Fox. They've already skipped out to the tune of 4 seconds over Sean O'Sullivan, who's running all by his lonesome. 2.5 second gap back to this gaggle of cars here, this angry swarm of cars. You've got Harry Cooper running in 4th, followed by Paco Suarez, followed by Jared Fosbury, followed by Luis Wassman. Followed by Wei Lu. So that is 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, all separated by a second and a half from each other. Oh, and we just picked up Paco Suarez as he slams that right rear into the wall and broke the right front end plate off of his wing. So he's going to have some wing damage and a loss of downforce. Unbelievable opening couple of laps here. And Suarez is in the middle of a McLaren sandwich. As we see Eric Penton just set the fastest lap of the race at a 1:41.955 on full fuel. And here comes Suarez. He's going to be looking to make a move here on Harry Cooper as he dives down the inside of turn 1. Brave move by Suarez because he's got that loss of downforce. He's not able to turn that car in. We hop on board. This is Jared Fosbury looking out. Harry Cooper got the DRS slots open. Now this is lap 3, so DRS is going to be enabled. And big contact there. Suarez, Cooper into the wall. Both done for the day. Massive crash. Massive. And Suarez is going to be shaking his head. What does he have to do to finish a race in this league? Unbelievable. Jared Fosbury is going to move into the 4th spot. That is a huge off. And just like that, we're now down to 13 cars left in this race as Luis Wassman moves up into 5th spot. He is now on the tail end of Jared Fosbury. So now you've got 4th is Jared Fosbury, 5th is Luis Wassman. Kevin Harrison is now moved into 6th. Wei Liu is 7th. And Reese March quietly has moved into the 8th spot. He's in front of Felix Negwer, but it looks like Reese March has got some wing damage, and he wisely is going to get out of the way. And Thomas Mumford, we just lost him. It looks like he might have had some contact. He probably had contact there at the Castle corner, so now Mumford is gone as well. You see his car pulled off there. There's Mumford in the background. That is 3 drivers gone in the matter of a lap. Gyps Man Crunchy. That's James Yock is now gone. He was running in 10th. Where is his car? Oh, it's right there. That is very close. They'll have to get that removed. And Luis Wassman making a move on Jared Fosbury as they head down into turn 1. He's not going to be able to make it stick. And what an unbelievable lap 3 of this race turned into a demolition derby. We started with 15 cars. On lap 3, we lost 4 of them. And Luis Wassman now going to look to make a move to the inside of Jared Fosbury, headed down in his corner, locks up the left front tire, but he makes it work. And here comes Kevin Harrison now. Championship battle here. Fosbury trying to make that stick, but he's not going to be able to hold the position. He's going to have the more preferred line heading into the next corner. No. Side by side through here, he holds off Kevin Harrison. And Wei Liu quietly stalking in the background, looking to make a move on these two guys. Could Wei Liu get a 2-for-1 deal if these guys make contact with each other? They head into the Castle turn here. Just want to tiptoe through here. Don't want to get caught out by any of those walls. And we've already had some radio chatter in the background. Paco Suarez throwing shade at Harry Cooper for that incident, and that was definitely a massive crash. And Thomas Mumford, it's 2 weeks in a row now that he'll pick up a DNF. Unfortunate for him. Looks like he might have gotten called out at the Castle turn, and that's probably not going to be the last driver to get called out there. So you've got some separation from the drivers up at the front. This is your closest battle on track. This is Jared Fosbury in the 5th spot trying to hold off championship points leader Kevin Harrison. Wei Liu running in 7th, 3-car battle. And these guys are closing the gap a little bit. And here comes Harrison around Jared Fosbury to take that spot. And now Fosbury should have the DRS advantage. He's going to try and come back on Kevin Harrison. And this has just been unbelievable. Fosbury back to the inside. Oh, dives in deep, almost blows that corner. He was very close to taking out himself. So 3-car battle for the 5th spot. We've got some shuffling going on in the back here. This is the battle for 9th. This is James Hallworth and Steph Christensen. Now, these two had to pit very early by themselves. Looks like they've been running nose to tail ever since. Hallworth caught up in that lap 1 crash. Christensen put himself into the wall a couple of times and broke his front wing on both end plates, so he had to pit. Well, that's your battle for 9th going on. Reese March, he had that wing damage. Looks like he had to pit. He's pitted and switched over to hard tires, running all by his lonesome in the 11th spot, so he's not completely out of this. He can still snatch a couple of points today. Very close to that wall with the right front, and he just clips the wall there, and he breaks the right front end plate off the wing. So Reese March is going to be shaking his head, and it looks like we've got Shay Fox is diving in the pits to switch over to hard tires. So a very short first stint for Shay Fox. He's going to give up the 2nd spot. That hands it over to Sean O'Sullivan, and Luis Wassman has worked his way into podium position. Meanwhile, Jared Fosbury still trying to hold off Kevin Harrison and Wei Liu. These two have swapped positions a number of times over the last couple laps here, and we're only on lap 6 of 26 for this race. Unbelievable running. Just checking a couple of things out here. I was having some technical difficulties with the stream, but it looks like everything's A-OK. Pick up Jared Fosbury through the castle turn. And this 3-car battle continues between these guys. Actually, while these guys have been battling it out, Shay Fox, who did pit, he's already starting to creep back into the fold. Now, this big, long front straightaway now, Shay Fox and Wei Liu, not Shay Fox, Kevin Harrison and Wei Liu are going to have... Whoa, and that was unbelievable there. Kevin Harrison peels off at the last second with Jared Fosbury. Wei Liu going to take over that 4th spot. Eric Pettington coming out of the pits as he makes his first pit stop, so that hands the lead over to Sean O'Sullivan. Things getting separated here a little bit, but this battle continues here. This is the battle for 8th now. This is James Hallworth and Steph Christensen swapping spots again. Oh, and look at this. Crossover move by James Hallworth. Tries to get to the inside, and he's got the more preferred line. He's too far back to make a move, and Christensen's going to be able to hang on to that spot. Well, we've got Kevin Harrison behind him. We're going to take a look here. Not what I want. I don't want telemetry. Harrison's already made his pit stop, so Harrison's going to be on quicker tires. So the only drivers yet to make a pit stop is Sean O'Sullivan, who's leading this race to the tune of 2.5 seconds over Luis Wassman, who hasn't pitted, and Wei Liu currently running in 4th. Those are your 3 drivers that have yet to pit. And the action has been hot since the green flag has dropped on this race. James Hallworth all over the back of the factory. We know Steph Christensen trying to find a way around him. Great run up through the castle corner. And we see Reese March has had to make 2 stops so far, both times because of wing damage. Down the hill through turn 13. And Kevin Harrison is back here, and it looks like... It looks like O'Sullivan and Luis Wassman have decided to pit. That's going to move Wei Liu into 2nd spot, hand the lead back over to Eric Pettington at the front. Now, I know Shay Fox said that there was some rain in the forecast, but you look at the sky, it's bright, it's blue. Lets the clouds come rolling in quick. I don't think weather's going to be a factor. We've got a yellow flag. Oh, it's Reese March! Sector 2, Reese March. What has happened to Reese running in 11th? And he's going to be done for the day, unfortunate for him. We're still watching this 3-way battle, and they're coming up on where Reese's car probably would be. You see the yellow flag here, Sector 2. Looks like Reese March may have had it off there at that runoff area. So Reese March in his IRL debut for F2 is going to have to call it a day. Yellow flags flying in Sector 1. We're going to pick up Jared Fosbury. Looks like he may have had an issue. Steph Christensen, James Hallworth, and Sean O'Sullivan. We've got this 4-car battle now. Oh, to the inside, Felix Negwer. Uh-oh, and who is this? This is Sullivan. Sullivan looks like he's had a little bit of an off here. Oh no, it's Sean. Sullivan has retired from the session. Why did O'Sullivan retire from the session? He was running in the points. He was running a good strategy. Unbelievable turn of events now. Unbelievable what has happened here. So Baku has turned into a race of attrition. We started with 15 drivers. We started with 26 laps to go. We have now got on lap 9 of 26. We're not even halfway through this race, and we've lost pretty much half of the field at this point. Started with 15 cars. We're down to 9. We've lost 6 of them altogether. And I'm not sure if O'Sullivan had an issue, if he meant to retire, if he rage quit. He was having a halfway decent run, and with so many cars having issues, he was definitely going to be finishing in the points today. I do not condone rage quitting. You come to race it to the finish, because you never know what's going to happen, especially at a track like this, as we continue to watch James Hallworth try and work his way around Steph Christensen. Meanwhile, Kevin Harrison is running in that 8th spot, his championship contender, second in points. Jared Fosbury running by his lonesome right now in the 5th spot. This is exactly what Jared needs. He needs to finish in front of Harrison to close that points gap, as little as it may be. You never know what's going to happen. And with Jack Yates not here, he's going to be able to capitalize and lock up second spot for now as we head into next week, as long as things finish the way they are. But Hallworth and Christensen really the ones to watch right now. These guys have been going blow for blow the last few laps. And Hallworth making a great recovery drive. He's back up to 7th. He started around this area. Had that incident on lap 1, turn 2. And he's made a great recovery drive to make it into the points. As long as he can keep his nose clean, he'll put some good points on the board today for Red Bull. Great finish for him. Good recovery drive as of right now. But again, still early in the race, only on lap 9. Anything could happen as these two run a little wide coming out of there. And here you go. You got to be very careful through this section here. Now hop on board. You can see just a little bit of dogleg here. You're technically flat out through these corners, but if you get a loss of downforce on the front wing or pick up some aero wash, you can be deadly heading into that outside wall. We hop on board with James Hallworth, see if he's got anything for Steph Christensen. Looks like Christensen's going to take the inside line. The more defensive line, Hallworth to the outside. Can he outbrake him? I don't think he's going to have it. And again, nose to tail. And here comes Kevin Harrison. And these 3 cars are nose to tail. Now James Hallworth and Kevin Harrison are going to have DRS advantage as they head down this long straightaway. And again, to the outside, Christensen positioning his car perfectly to take away that inside line. And this has been some unbelievable racing. Hallworth still trying to find a way around. Harrison looks like he's biding his time. Spoke about it earlier. Harrison is a little bit more methodical. And it looks like just real quick on the Rolex 24 on the live stream I'm watching there, we've got a problem with the Rizzi Competizione Ferrari. But the Rolex 24 right rear tire is blown and shredded. Destroyed the right rear portion of the car. For anybody that's interested, that car is limping around the track right now, but we are watching IRL F2 action here on the live stream. These 3 cars, this battle is 6th, 7th, and 8th right now, but we've got some action going on here at the front. This is Shea Fox looking to make a move on Wei Lu for the 2nd spot. Now, Wei Lu is the only driver still out on track who is yet to pit. You see there, everybody has made their stop. So Shea Fox moves his way back into 2nd. Wei Lu will have to make a pit stop. And Luis Wassman would take over the third spot when and if that happens. Well, it's going to happen. You have to do at least one pit stop and a compound change. Look at this! Kevin Harrison to the inside, tries to make a move on James Hallworth. Hallworth trying to make a move on Steph Christensen. And while these three cars have been battling this out, quietly, Felix Negwer starting to come into the fold. 2.5 seconds behind this battle for the 6th spot. 3-car battle for 6th. Kevin Harrison might be getting a little tired of running behind these two cars. Up through Castle Turn. James Hallworth been putting in a great drive today, trying to find his way around Steph Christensen. Christensen has made that Renault very wide, very hard to get around. And this has been some unbelievable racing action. It's amazing that these guys are fighting as hard as they are for the 6th spot. Every point counts in this championship. And Kevin Harrison, he was your championship points leader, doesn't want to lose any more points to Jared Fosbury, championship contender, than he has to. Fosbury currently running in 5th. Now, there is a pretty big points gap between those two. Kevin Harrison, your points leader, running in that Alfa Romeo, 234 points on the season. Jared Fosbury only has 193, but you don't want to lose any more points than you have to. Hallworth, again, not close enough to make a move, even with that DRS advantage. So that Renault's running a really, really trimmed out setup. Low downforce, obviously, here at the long straightaways of Baku. It looks like he's got it trimmed out just a little bit more. Oh, and Felix Negwer now has retired from the session. And he's currently running in 9th. And I saw his car in the background. The car was still running. Now, Felix Negwer had some internet issues a couple weeks ago. I'm not sure if he's having internet issues again, but we're officially down to essentially half the field at this point. We started with 15 drivers. And Felix Negwer officially leaves the session, so not sure what happened there. Too bad for Negwer, running in 9th, and he was closing in on this battle. Now, Steph Christensen's been able to scoot away a little bit here from James Hallworth. Put a couple of car lengths between them. We're officially halfway through this race, lap 13 of 26. And these guys are actually closing in. No, I don't want to say they're closing in on Jared Fosbury, but they are about 4 seconds back. And Hallworth, once again, DRS slot open. Can he make a move this time? And you see Steph Christensen perfectly places that car where it needs to be. He's going to make Hallworth go to the outside. And DRS slot open. And again, Hallworth just can't get it done. That Renault is very trimmed out. That Renault is as fast on the straightaway with his wing closed as the Red Bull is with that DRS slot open. It's making life very difficult for James Hallworth to try and get around him. And Kevin Harrison looking to make a move to the inside of Hallworth now, and he's going to get it done at the end of the straightaway. So Kevin Harrison moves up a spot. So Hallworth did all that work to try and get around Steph Christensen and wasn't able to, and he loses the spot to Kevin Harrison. So Harrison moves up. So now does Kevin Harrison have anything for Steph Christensen? And while all this has been happening, I'm a little surprised by this, but they have closed that gap. It's a 4-second gap to Jared Fosbury. It was about 5 seconds a handful of laps ago, so he's lost a little bit of time. But we're going to watch Kevin Harrison now, your championship points leader, currently running in the 7th spot. You see all the debris out there on the outside of that corner. Now, does Harrison have anything for Steph Christensen? Pretty big gap. Christensen's got that Renault really trimmed out for this long straightaway. We're about 3/4 of a mile here on full throttle heading down this front stretch. Harrison's going to be able to close up the gap, but he's not going to be close enough to make a move. This race has really turned into a race of attrition. Unbelievable run by these guys. And again, long run down. That's where Harrison made the move on James Hallworth. Now Hallworth has it. Oh, and Harrison's into the wall. Just brushed the right side tires up against that wall. No wing damage, luckily. But he may have weakened that right front suspension. A couple of more shots like that, and he'll break it. So Hallworth hasn't exactly lost touch with this battle, but he's definitely doesn't have the pace that he had a couple of laps ago. And it does look like the sky is not as blue as it was a few laps ago. It does look like some overcast clouds are starting to roll in. So Shay Fox has been our resident weatherman, and he said weather could be a factor very late in the going. So that may or may not become a possibility here. As you see the clouds start to roll in, and again, Kevin Harrison doesn't look like he's going to be close enough to make a move. Going to get that DRS advantage, that drag reduction system on the rear wing. If you're within a second of the car in front of you, you can open that rear slot on this long straightaway. But look at that Renault. That Renault is just so trimmed out. It's pulling. It's pulling on the Alfa Romeo. So that is a very, very nice setup that Steph Christensen's got on that factory Renault. We're going to stay on board here. This is going to be the second DRS zone. Gonna get that DRS slot open. It's not gonna be close enough to make a move. And you see that was Jared Fosbury back there in that foreground making that corner. That his time, he's lost half a second to this battle. This 3-car battle that we've been watching most of this race. It was about a 4-second gap a couple laps ago. It's now down to 3.5. So these guys are catching Jared Fosbury, and that's not good news for Fosbury since Kevin Harrison is a part of this battle. And if Harrison can get around Christensen, you can definitely bet he's going to make a run towards Fosbury to try and get and leapfrog him, because he doesn't want Fosbury to close that points gap at all. Jared Fosbury, he is your defending F2 champion. He won the F2 championship last year. Second in points right now. Harrison, though, cannot find the speed to get around. And actually, James Hallworth is going to have the DRS slot open, and he is going to make a move. He's going to have a massive run heading down into turn 1, swings it to the outside. Harrison, side by side, it's a drag race, Red Bull Honda versus Alfa Romeo. And Hallworth looking to make his way back in front of Kevin Harrison, get that spot back. And these 3 cars, you can throw a blanket over these 3 cars. You have not been able to separate these late on the brakes. Swings it in. Whew. Made my heart skip a beat there. Meanwhile, nothing has changed at the front of the field. We're going to run down the order real quick. Eric Pettington, your leader, to the tune of 17 seconds over Shay Fox. Now, Fox has got a 9.5 second gap to Wei Lu, who is running in third, but Wei Lu is the only driver yet to make a pit stop. So when he does, he'll hand over that podium position to Luis Wassman. Wassman's catching him now. Then you've got this 10-second gap back to Jared Fosbury, and Fosbury's been able to separate that gap here a little bit now. It was 3.5 seconds. He's now pulled out to 4.2. As we see Steph Christensen still trying to hold off Kevin Harrison for the 6th spot, and Luis Wassman just made the move around Wei Lu, and Wei Lu looks like he might have had some impact with the wall. Oh, and he's lost his front wing, maybe? And Wei Lu is going to dive into the pits. He went very long on those medium tires. That's going to move Jared Fosbury into 4th. And we're still watching this battle. It's now going to be the battle for the 5th spot. Working lap 17 of 26. And Fosbury has lost a big chunk of time. Again, it was 4.2 seconds last time by. Now it's down to 3.6. So Wei Lu runs a very long first stint. Good for him running up there in the podium position, running up front. Looks like he might have had a little bit of contact with the wall there, coming out on the front stretch. Lost a little bit of the front wing. So that's too bad for him, unfortunately. But a good points day for him nonetheless. He's going to be finishing 8th, and it looks like we are starting to get some drops of rain. We'll go on board real quick. So yeah, it does look like we're getting some drops of rain, and this is a little earlier than I thought it would be. Shay Fox made it sound like it was going to be very late in the going, lap 18 of 26, and the rain has showed up. It's not raining very hard yet. But it looks like the weather is going to be a factor. Whew, and a good run coming out of that corner for James Hallworth. And it is a drag race down the front stretch. We're about to go 3 wide into turn 1. Kevin Harrison. Oh no, I don't want to do that. Get out of there. Kevin Harrison, and went 3 wide in the corner. Accidentally hit a wrong button. And it is starting to rain a little bit harder right now. This is going to make things very interesting. Who's going to take the gamble to stay out on slicks? Who's going to be the first one to come in and switch over to intermediates? I don't think the track is wet enough right now, but if it continues to rain the way it is, 2 or 3 more laps, we could see a changeover. Hop on board, you can see on the camera the rain coming down. And there's nothing more dangerous for an F1 car than wet curbs. And this is a street course, and it is full of curbs that you essentially have to take in some of these corners to make the corner work if you want to hit the apex just right. There's a corner you would hit, there's a corner you would hit. You definitely run over those. So it's starting to rain, starting to pick up here as this race is starting to wind down. 7 laps to go. So we continue to watch these 3 cars that have not been able to separate themselves from each other at all. Continue to watch Steph Christensen running in the 5th spot. He's followed by Kevin Harrison, and Harrison very close now. DRS slide open. He's going to try and make a move to the outside. And Harrison, oh, and he's going to get shoved into the wall. That's very close, and here comes Hallworth. Oh, but Harrison's going to muscle his way through. Here comes Hallworth. Tries to put the power down. He was looking to get the 2-for-1 deal. Wasn't able to get it. Oh, and this is not going to work. 3 into 1. This is going to get messy here, guys, and the rain is down. Oh, and you see the back end kick out on the Alfa, or not the Alfa Romeo, the Red Bull. And that was very dicey, but Kevin Harrison muscles his way through. through the Castle corner, and it looks like the pace is slowed down on these cars just a tick now. The rain continuing to fall. And now it's going to become a game of chicken. Who's going to pit for intermediates? And you're playing a chicken with the weather. You're playing chicken with the other drivers. You don't want to be the first one to do it. You don't want to do it too soon. You don't want to stay out too late. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 1. I'm not sure who that would be. It looks like it might have been Luis Wassman. He just lost, looks like the right front end plate of his wing. Running in third. That's unfortunate for him. Oh, and here comes Steph Christensen around Kevin Harrison to retake the fifth spot. Oh, it looks like there was a little bit of a bump and grind there on the back end. Oh, and there's a little bit of argy-bargy going on as they're shoulder checking each other heading down to this next corner. And things are getting dicey here between these three drivers. Harrison muscled his way through. It doesn't look like Christensen appreciated that in the previous lap. And here comes Harrison back to the outside. Oh, and he blows the corner. Kevin Harrison blows the corner. He's going to have to back it up. And you see he's got a little bit of end plate damage on the left front part of the wing. And here comes Wei Lu, who thought he would be running all by his lonesome, and all of a sudden he finds himself in a battle for the 7th spot. Meanwhile, James Hallworth, what's going on here? These guys look like they're going incredibly slow. And Hallworth makes it around. Oh no, he's blown the corner as well. So he's blown, it looks like weather's now become a factor. Christensen skips away. And weather's become a factor. Here comes Wei Lu. James Hallworth's going to fall back to the 8th spot from blowing the corner. Kevin Harrison back into 6th. And Wei Lu all over the gearbox of him. And it looks like weather has now become an issue. Cars are starting to slide a little bit. And you got to hand it to Eric Pettington. He's grown this gap under the weather to 32 seconds over Shea Fox. Eric Pettington now has enough time to pit, throw on a set of intermediates, and come back out in front of Shea Fox, even if Fox wants to stay out on the track. And things have gotten ridiculous here with 6 laps to go. You see how slow Shea Fox is going around that corner. So Eric Pettington, your current leader, we're going to hop on board with him and just see how gingerly he is going around this track right now. See how easy he's been getting back on the throttle. Steering inputs, and we got a yellow flag, Sector 1. And we do have some guys that have ducked in. Oh, look, this is going to be Shea Fox. He's the white flag. Here comes Wei Lu, or not Wei Lu, Luis Wassman. And look, we've got Jared Fosbury. He's the first one to pit, switch out on the intermediates. Here comes Kevin Harrison, followed by Wei Lu, Steph Christensen, James Hallworth. They all have pitted. And we're going to keep an eye on the Nexus clone. That is Jared Fosbury. This is last year's defending F2 champion, second in points. He's the first one out on intermediates. And Luis Wassman looks like he's closed in that gap to Shea Fox. Fox really struggling in the wet now all of a sudden. He's on those hard compound tires. And look at the 42 seconds. 42 seconds. And here comes Eric Pettington. He's going to easily pit, throw on the intermediates, and come back out. He'll still be your leader. Fox, on the other hand, struggling with understeer now as the front end washes out, and Luis Wassman loses the back end, almost goes head first into the wall. We pick up Jared Fosbury. Fosbury on the intermediate tires for the wet weather. And James Hallworth picks up a 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings for cutting corners, exceeding track limitations. We got Sondre Sorhaug in the live chat saying that it looked like Wei Lu's car may have had a puncture. I don't know how long ago he said that, but... So here we go. This is Luis Wassman and Shea Fox now into the pits to switch over to intermediates. Here comes Jared Fosbury. The long run down the front stretch. Can he leapfrog these guys? Wassman still in the pits. Looks like they were switching out Fox. Where is Fosbury in all this? Fosbury's not going to be close enough. It looks like he's going to get one spot, but he's not going to get both. Shay Fox is going to come out in front of him, just in front of him. But to the podium is Jared Fosbury. And he's going to already have a little bit of temperature in those intermediates. And everybody now on the intermediate tires. They've all made their final stop for all intents and purposes now. This is Jared Fosbury running in third. He's right behind Shay Fox. This is a battle for second that's materialized. Luis Wassman running in fourth. And I know everybody's interested because the way the battle for fifth has been, these guys have separated themselves, but it's Steph Christensen running in fifth. James Hallworth manages to get back to the sixth spot. Kevin Harrison running in eighth. But we've got this battle now. This is the battle for third. Actually, it's really a three-car battle for second. They're all within a second of each other. This is Shay Fox running in second spot, followed by Jared Fosbury and Luis Wassman. This has been a ridiculous race. Lap 23 of 26. Now, Eric Pettington's got this one locked up as long as he doesn't make a mistake like he did last week. Now, last week at Paul Ricard, the rain came out. He switched over to intermediates, and he found himself in a wall a few laps later. So, as long as he doesn't make a mistake, it doesn't look like Fosbury's got the speed in the car to keep up with Shay Fox. Fox is now scooted away. Luis Wassman, though, he's looking at a potential podium finish. And look at that. Look at the side. You see the camera angle. It's raining sideways. Wassman now gets a good run coming out of that corner. Now, with the wet weather, there'll be no DRS advantage for these guys. So it's all downforce at this point. So we went from a three-car battle for the fifth spot to a two-car battle for the third spot. And really, they're not that far off from Shay Fox in second. And if Shay Fox made a mistake, Jared Fosbury could definitely capitalize on that. Now this is really what Jared Fosbury needed. He needed a good podium finish like this to really try and close that points gap to Kevin Harrison. Harrison currently back in seventh, so he would take a little bite out of that championship points lead. He finishes where he's at right now. But Fosbury looks like he doesn't quite have the setup on that car that some of these other guys do. And it looks like we've got non-league James Boyall on the live chat cheering on Luis Wassman. And Wassman, who has struggled for the most part of this season, has really put together a good string of runs here the last couple of races. He's looking to do another good finish here today. He picked up his first podium finish back at round 15 at Spa-Francorchamps. Had a good finish last week in fifth. So Luis Wassman finally putting together a string of good runs. And you can now start to see the rooster tails coming off of some of these cars. And Wassman good down that front stretch. Wassman keeps hitting his marks the way he is. He's definitely putting the pressure here on Jared Fosbury. Unbelievable race today. Working lap 24 of 26. Eric Pettington is your leader to the tune of 43 seconds over Shay Fox, who's currently in second. We're watching the battle for third. This is Jared Fosbury in the McLaren. Luis Wassman in the Racing Point. Steph Christensen currently running in fifth, and he's got James Hallworth all over the back of him. This is the battle that just won't quit. James Hallworth making a comeback run to Steph Christensen to try and get around him. We've got Kevin Harrison running all by his lonesome 2.5 seconds back from that battle for the fifth spot. And then Wade Liu is going to be running in eighth, and it's probably where he's going to finish. 9th through 15th is nothing but DNS. Felix Negwer, Sean O'Sullivan, Reese March, Owen Wassman slaps that left rear into the wall. Looks like he got on the power a little bit too soon. Maybe he had a little bit of traction loss over the curbs there. But Reese March, James Yacht, Thomas Mumford, Paco Suarez, Harry Cooper, all with DNFs. Felix Negwer retired for unknown reason. Sean O'Sullivan looked like he had rage quit, which I think was a bad call on his part. He was running in the points and through the pit sequence. He could definitely work his way back to the front. He definitely had the speed for it. Reese March, fortunately, one too many offs into the wall. James Yock, I'm not sure what happened to him. Thomas Mumford, I'm not sure what happened to him. And then the talk of the day early on in this race was the massive crash between Paco Suarez and Harry Cooper on lap 2 or 3, I believe it was. It was very early on in the going. Actually, it may have even been, well, it wasn't lap 1, but I think it was lap 2. But it was a massive crash. And Paco Suarez had some few choice words over the radio chatter for Harry Cooper and the McLaren. It looks like things are going to be settled the way they are. Cars are separated now by a little bit, so great day for Eric Pettington. Pettington with his 4th pole position of the year in the dry. And he's been able to go on. This will be his 5th win of the season. And again, he's a part-time driver. He's got F1 speed, but he doesn't have F1 time, unfortunately. The way the races are scheduled out between the F1, F2, and F3 leagues, he's unable to make the F1 races. So he'll be looking at his 5th win of the year. Shay Fox, he'll be looking at his, this is going to be his 2nd podium in a row. And I think I misspoke earlier when I said he had a podium back at Spa. He was actually leading the race at Spa when he crashed. And again, that was due to wet weather. But he came home 2nd last week at Paul Ricard. He'll come home 2nd again today. Jared Fosbury looks like he'll be picking up another podium finish. So we pick up Eric Pettington. He is on the final lap. We're coming into turn 2. The battle's not over here between Luis Wassman and Jared Fosbury, though. Fosbury's lost touch with Shay Fox. But Luis Wassman is all over the back of that McLaren, and Wassman's going to be looking to make a move here. We hop on board with Luis Wassman. He's got fans in the stands cheering him on. No DRS, but he does have that slipstream advantage. Oh, and it's going to be close coming down into turn 1. Oh no, and he makes contact! He makes big contact with Fosbury. Oh, that's unfortunate for Luis Wassman. Looks like he did not time that right. And that could have ended in a huge mess. So Wassman looks like he just misjudged when to make the move, and he just clipped that rear tire. Hopefully that doesn't give Fosbury a puncture. So Fosbury able to hold his composure and maintain control of that car. Meanwhile, we're going to pick up Eric Pettington. He's in Sector 3. He's getting ready to head out onto this dog-leg front stretch. Sweeping right, left, full throttle S's. Oh no, and Kevin Harrison, though, real quick. Kevin Harrison's just got around James Hallworth for the 6th spot. Kind of not what Jared Fosbury wanted to see. But here comes Eric Pettington, 5th win of the year. Of commanding win from start to finish. Congratulations to Eric Pettington. Shay Fox now. Shay Fox running all by his lonesome, 44 seconds behind. Hallworth hasn't completely given up on that battle, but it looks like Kevin Harrison was able to pull away. So here comes Shay Fox in the last section of this track here. Runs down the long front straightaway. That's going to be the 2nd podium in a row for Shay Fox. Both times in wet weather, so he's starting to show some wet weather prowess here in IRL, and he'll be happy about that. He was amped coming into this race because of his podium from last week. He's got another one to his credit today. Jared Fosbury with a much-needed podium finish. Luis Wassman with another great finish coming home in 4th. Steph Christensen hard fought all day for that 5th spot. He's going to be able to hang on to it. He'll be happy with that. Here comes Kevin Harrison. Damage control today, comes home 6th. James Hallworth, hard fought, well-deserved 7th spot. Could have maybe gotten a little bit more. And Wei Lu quietly going to come home in 8th. Congratulations to him on his points finish, as he decides to slam into the wall for no good reason. So he'll be credited with an 8th place finish. James giving a shout out to Kevin Harrison and Steph Christensen for their winning ways. But here's Eric Pettington for the 5th time this season on top of the podium. You see Shay Fox there giving him the slow clap. Fox had nothing for him today. 2 podiums in a row, and Jared Fosbury, a much-needed podium finish. And he does, the more important thing there is he finishes in front of Kevin Harrison, so he's going to take a little bit of bite out of that championship point standings. So here is your finishing order. EFL, that's Eric Pettington, 5th win of the year. Shay Fox coming home in 2nd. Jared Fosbury is 3rd. Luis Wassman, hard fought 4th spot. Steph Christensen, well-deserved 5th. Kevin Harrison, 6th. James Hallworth in 7th. Wei Lu is 8th. Those were your 8th finishing drivers. 9th through 15th will all be DNFs. That's Felix Negwer, Sondre Sorhaug, Reese March, James Yock, Thomas Mumford, Paco Suarez, and Harry Cooper rounding out your 15 drivers for today. Guys, this has been IRL F2. This is F1 Racing. Well, it's F2 League F1 2019 on the PS4 platform. Be sure to check us out. Like, subscribe, and comment to the YouTube channel. Be sure to check us out next week. We'll be going round 18, February 2nd, at Sochi, Russia. And usually we do get the drivers in here for a quick interview, but I've unfortunately got places to be and things to see. So I will not be doing interviews today. But guys, check us out online, internationalracingleague-irl.com. You can check us out on Twitter. That is at F1_IRL. And if you want to get in as an admin, a commentator, a driver, we've got 3 leagues. We've got F1, F2, F3. They all race at different times, different days. F1's racing at 1 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern Standard Time on Saturdays. F2 and F3 racing on Sundays at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So be sure to check us out. Guys, next week, same bat time, same bat channel. Check us out right here. I'll be bringing it to you live. We'll see you all at the next round.